Be strong.
Well, a very, very happy Wednesday, everyone here. Welcome to the Throw In on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel. I got a very busy, very exciting show for you guys, taking you guys up for 2 hours here. And, I'm just glad to be back in action, doing, the show, being able to talk about sports. And we got a lot to talk about. And it's kind of one of those things where you kind of want to figure out where you want to head to, because we've been away for so long. You want to, it was one thing thinking about, how we get a chance to start this program and get a chance to talk about, cover the things that we have missed and to be able to keep on moving forward. So as we kind of get settled back in again, as we continue doing what we talk about sports. We'll talk about baseball, football, basketball, WWE, a lot of ways, a lot of opinions. If I miss a certain subject, if I miss a certain topic, please let me know. Fill in the comments down below, and I'll be happy to, cover some of that for you. Take a look into the stories. But hey, listen, at this moment here, we're at the All-Star break, you guys. The halfway season, according to Major League Baseball, we're well over 81 games halfway through a season in the season. But this is a time for, stars to shine. And once again, last night, big news coming out. American League beat the National League. Final score 3-2. Excited to talk about that. I mean, nothing really too charismatic here. Clayton Kershaw got the start. I know there was took on. He ended up taking on Shane McCallahan over in Tampa Bay, and I know that there was a lot of controversy there because Clayton Kershaw gets the nod to start the game, and there's guys like Sandy Alcantara who's pitching tremendously better. And I'm just looking through the line score here, and I got to give it to you guys. I think if the roles were reversed, if we're in Miami and we had the All-Star game in Miami, then you see Sandy Alcantara being starting the game for the National League. Clayton Kershaw, I mean, simple, goes one inning, he gives up one hit. You think of Kershaw here, never started at an All-Star game. You think of, and I think respectfully, right? So for the National League being in the All-Star, being in Los Angeles, Clayton Kershaw, Los Angeles, a player who's been in LA his entire career, looking to finish off his career, and you don't know how much longer he has on his career. Just getting the opportunity to go out there, start a game with the for the National League. One inning, one hit, one strikeout, one walk, nothing too bad for the most part. The National League got off to a nice 2-run start early on in the first, and then the American League was able to respond and answer back in the fourth against Tony Gosselin, giving up 3 runs, a couple of home runs there. He gave up 4 hits, 3 runs, and a strikeout. 2 home runs was allowed, and that was pretty much all she wrote down to the game. American League pitching, once again, outstanding. I kind of wish on this sense, though, that that there was some sort of wager. When it comes down to the All-Star game, at least in my opinion, um, in my perspective. You compare yourself to Major League All Stars, to the All Star game, the NBA All Star game, the NFL Pro Bowl, NHL All Star Week. For me, Major League Baseball is the from I mean least exciting, most entertaining, in the most must see All Star game out of the entire year, out of among all the sports. The one thing that I really am a little disappointed, and I will kind of be on this, until they change it up again. If they change it up and again, and most likely they're not going to ever change it up again. But they used to have the wager on the on Major League Baseball's All Star Game, where the winner will have home field advantage in the World Series, and they're not going to have that. They don't have that anymore. They haven't had that for a few years, and I feel like that for me takes away a little bit of how they go about playing their games. But that's just from my point of view. But also the American League wins their ninth straight. That is three wins for the National League throughout the last 20 years. And now the National Leagues have a 9-game winning streak over theirs. All right. Boy, I tell you, you guys watched the home run derby last night or Monday night. Didn't watch it, got a glimpse of it. You had, I'll let you know, Juan Carlos Stanton gets the MVP award for the All Star game. Juan Soto, the hottest free agent, who got a chance, who turned down a $440 million contract for 15 years with the Washington Nationals, and he goes out there Monday and wins the home run derby. And on top of that, you had Julio Rodriguez hitting the most home runs total throughout the home run derby, a total of 81 home runs. Something spectacular to watch. I was All-Star Weekend kind of sparks up some memories. You start watching some old ones, you kind of going through the archives. The one thing that I really think, for All-Star, the home run derby, they try to make it exciting. Okay, they have the timer. You get the faster pace. They've always tried to reinvent themselves. When you think of trying to reinvent themselves for other, comparing them to other sports, and let's face it, Major League Baseball is never going to be like the NFL, never going to be like the NBA. But they're trying over the last couple of years to kind of improve their viewership among the younger audience by things like going to Apple TV, by making the game more exciting, a faster pace, the pitch clock that they'll be implementing, the extra inning rule where they have a runner starting on second base. And they go right back down to the home run derby and the All Star. This year at the All Star game, if they went into the extra innings, if they get, something that I was hearing last night, tuned into a little bit of the game, they wanted to go into extra innings because there was a new format in place. You had three. If they win in, if the regular, there had to be a winner. There's no outcome other than pride at this point by winning the All Star game. But they're determined to have a winner. So instead of having any extra inning rules, instead of playing 10, 11, 12 innings, what they decided to do was that if the game was tied after 9 innings, they would have had the managers of each team select 3 guys. They would get 3 swings to get a chance to, and a little home run derby action to determine the winner. I thought that was pretty interesting. We didn't get a chance to see that last night. We don't know how things will take place next year. But I was looking at the home run derby, and how it's evolved over the years. How used to have 10 outs, now it's down, and that used to take forever. 4 or 5 hours just for an All-Star game. People get fatigued very quickly. Then they move down to the the clock where you had 4 or 5 minutes, and then you get a little break in between. Um, and I like that method. I don't like the whole round. Who gets selected? I understand. There's certain people, for example, Albert Pujols trying to bringing, as a legacy, a selection, put him in the home run derby as he's expected to retire at the end of this year. But I mean, I don't like how usually it should just be, honestly, the top home run leaders. Okay, if in this case, if you have eight, the top four or the top eight in total representing for the home run derby, getting the opportunity to win the home run derby. But I was kind of pondering over the older archives of the home run derby, and a couple of years ago, I found a video or I found several videos. You could actually find them on YouTube about home run derbies and how they were played earlier back, several years ago. Talking about back in the day with Mickey Mantle and Ted Williams, and you had, and this is given, okay, because their season was precisely consisted of playing during the weekend. So every schedule series would be probably starting on a Thursday or Friday, and they played throughout the weekend. But what they would do is that they would had they would start off with the top two leading home runs, and they would face each other in an empty stadium on a Monday or on a Tuesday, and then the winner would advance to next week, and then they will take the next top home run, the next leading top, person with the most home runs for that week to face the defending champion. And you would, be simple. You get 3 outs, and you get 5 outs, and you get as many, swings. And I kind of really enjoyed that. Get to go back and watch some of those videos. So I don't know. I'm complexed over. I complex over myself with how the home run derby should work, how the All-Star game should work. I'm not really a fan of not having a stipulation, not having some sort of really a reason to play for it. We see this all the time in NBA, and look how much the score is written up. And when you watch the NBA, and yeah, I get it. It's the All Stars. You want them to go show off why they were selected to represent their franchise, their teams. To come together and the best of the best to play with each other for one time. The Pro Bowl. Who really watches the Pro Bowl at the end of the year? Who watches the NHL All Star? The NBA, I think, is probably the second most watched. With baseball now, one thing I like with baseball is still more a little competitive. Like I said, American League won 3-2. You had a couple home runs in the game, but I think there's still room for improvement. And as Major League Baseball, works on finding the flaws, and they've been doing a nice job. It's very difficult to adjust yourself as with the times and trying to find what actually works for the team, for the audience. But we are at the All-Star break here, and like I said, we have a lot to talk about. Like, we're just getting back underway here with the throw-in. I was taking notes last night or earlier this morning. And what I want to do today, okay, because baseball resumes back tomorrow, which I'm not a big fan of, and just overall in general, I'm not a big fan of. We have a handful of games playing tomorrow, and I'll go over that here in a minute when we get back from break. But I want to go over I want to start off with the National League standings. We're at that halfway mark, okay? Kind of like every other radio show or sports show in town or across the world. I want to go pay a visit to the National League standings. Okay, I'm going to start off with that today. We'll do the American League standings tomorrow. kind of want to share with you, kind of update you where everyone's at. Where is everyone projected to win, and kind of give you mid-season predictions. So we'll talk a little bit about that. I also want to talk about the big contract rejection that Juan Soto made last weekend, trades and possibilities that we could see out of that. And boy, it's hard to imagine. $440 million was given on a piece. It was insurance money. All right. A piece of paper. All you had to do is sign your life away for 15 years. You get to play baseball, and $440 million gets turned down by Juan Soto. And now, he has a few years left with the Washington Nationals, but just imagine you go to work, you go into your job today. All right, really sit down and think, okay, is this, at your work, is this the job that you want to do, that you can see yourself doing? You get a contract, or you get an offer. Hey, I want you working here for 15 years. I'll pay you $440 million. And you turn that down. It's about close to almost $30 million a year for Juan Soto. He turns that down. We'll talk about that a little bit as well. We'll talk about the Cincinnati Reds draft and picks, and I have some thoughts. And I'm not going to get too deep into the draft because analytically, the Reds are looking for the future, and I think it's just a big crash and burn for the future. Why are we worrying about 2, 3, 4 years down the road when we had an opportunity with the team that we had to move to the playoffs? There's something that we don't see, and I possibly see it too. And at the end of the day, with the Cincinnati Reds draft, you have to also talk about, and the comparison to Juan Soto possibly being on the kind of the biggest trade bargaining chip right now on the trade block as we now make our way towards August 2nd. We have to now think about, all right, Cincinnati, who are we getting rid of? And I know that there's been rumors of, big rumors about Luis Castillo. And, I was listening to a couple of podcasts the last couple of days about, trade rumors and possibilities. And I think that if the team is not looking to win now, if the team is not looking to win now, Luis Castillo doesn't have 2-3 years. And he is the greatest asset to this team and deserves to be on a team to the winning, to any playoff contending, teams this year. And I'm just thinking about teams that just come to mind off the bat. I know the Yankees are in the conversation. The Dodgers are in the conversation. Yesterday, I heard that the Astros could be a team to steal Luis Castillo. It's a big hit, and it's gonna hurt. I know it's gonna hurt a lot of Reds fans, but I think it's something that needs to be done. We'll talk about a little bit of that. More details coming about Ric Flair's last match coming up on July 31st. We'll dive into that and then get you guys ready for AEW Dynamite, which is tonight. So we have a lot to look forward to here. We're just getting underway on a Wednesday morning. You guys sit tight. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about the All-Star game and whatnot. You guys are listening to The Throw-In with Justin here on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel.
This is a celebration of the sport. You were part of a bunch of these. It never ceases to be special.
It's the best all-star game of any sport, in my opinion. And at a halfway point or a little over, the guys get to see each other for the first time together. It's the greatest all-star feeling. Everyone who's here can't wait to experience it all. I can't wait to call it.
But today is a special day. It's Miss Rachel Robinson's 100th birthday. So on the count of 3, I want everybody here to say happy birthday, Rachel. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday, Rachel.
A ceremonial first pitch thrown by a man who has a mania named after him. Fernando Valenzuela in 1981. Rookie of the Year, Cy Young winner, and half a decade plus straight of All-Star games.
You look at the numbers, and it's pretty special what he's able to do. And look, like I said, as he's gotten older, he doesn't throw as hard, but he's pitching as good as he ever has. And this has got to be an incredible rush here at home. He knows it's only going to be one inning, but still, come on, this is perfect time.
First pitch, first swing. That's it.
That sounds like fun. Thank you. Good luck.
Off we go. First pitch swinging. Flare of a base hit into center. Ohtani even told him through Tom Verducci, first pitch swing, and he did, and he broke his bat, but he's got a base hit. All right, Aaron Judge, there's a lot of good stuff on this guy. 33 home runs to lead baseball. Ohtani aboard with a leadoff hit. Kershaw to Judge. After a toss over, he picked him up. Kershaw erases Ohtani. And now Kershaw comes back home, and Judge strikes out swinging on a filthy slider from Kershaw. 2 gone. Here comes Kershaw. Ground ball to short. Trey Turner goes the short way and ends the inning. Scoreless first inning for Clayton Kershaw. Off and rolling in this All-Star game. So Acuna in scoring position. Mookie Betts comes to the plate. Is 3-1. Is grounded up the middle. Base hit center field. Acuna heads home, and Mookie Betts has the National League in front. That's swatted up the middle. Spear with a backhand by Jimenez. What a play to turn 2. Jimenez Anderson on to first. A sparkling double play.
Wow, that last big hop right there.
2-0 on Goldschmidt. He's better than ever. I mean, if you're handing out an MVP for the first half, it'd probably be him. That ball is crushed to left center field. Paul Goldschmidt hits it out. 2-0 National League. And so his monster season doesn't take a break here at the All-Star game. It's 2-0 NL. Alec, how you doing?
I'm good. Here we go. There's one.
Hey, that was perfect, man.
There we go. There's 2.
He caught it.
Pretty good.
John, what do you want?
Back foot slider, down and low.
Oh, you're sexy. Here we go. No. Yeah.
No.
That's on Smoltzy.
It was back foot. I mean, you executed it.
Right down the middle, but we'll take it 3 punches. Let's go.
Alec, congratulations. Thank you for doing this.
You're the best, man. Stanton and Judge have stayed healthy, and the numbers together are putting up 50-some plus home runs.
That ball is hammered to left center field. Goodbye. 2-run shot. Tie game. Right up to where he used to sit as a kid coming to games here at Dodger Stadium.
And it's going to be exactly what I just said. We're going to see this replay. He doesn't move. It's all upper body balance. You hit off your legs, no doubt. But he got a rare 2-strike pitch in the middle of the zone.
Special blend of skills this guy has when he's healthy in Buxton. Byron Buxton tattoos this ball to left field, and this one is out of here. Back-to-back home runs for the American League.
Well, this is what the AL can do. They can flex their muscle. That National League lead came and went in a hurry.
They got a couple innings worth, but that's it. And the party's in the AL dugout right now. New pitcher into the game for the AL, Liam Hendricks. Fly to center field.
Yes!
Julio's got it.
Come on.
There you go, Liam.
Don't throw the ball away. Julio. Give me the ball. Give me the ball. I need to keep it.
Nice.
I get everything authenticated. I got to keep this one. I didn't get a strikeout this time. I ruined my streak.
And Emmanuel Clase comes on to pitch.
Well, if you're hitting, you better be short and quick to the ball because you're going to see movement and velocity on this cutter.
It's 1-2 pitch to Jay Cronenworth. Got him! Clase strikes out the side in the 9th inning. And the American League wins the All-Star game for the 9th consecutive season.
Well, they put on a display of arms after getting down 2-0. I mean, they just shut them down.
And now the on-the-field MVP. When the galaxy of stars came to L.A., one shone brighter than all the rest. From Notre Dame High School, the Ted Williams MVP award winner, Giancarlo Stanton.
All right, and that was the All-Star game highlights, and I mean, listen, it was, just it's pretty spectacular. Just the overall to see all the stars come together, talk, play the sport, have a good time. There's pictures. A lot of people were mic'd up. You saw the different body cameras, even from like the umpires, and it was just a cool event, and to also be able to have it at Dodger Stadium. They have it every once in a while, and so the American League won, scored 3 runs, 8 hits off of 1 error, and then the National League 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors. Otani gets things started off with the single and then gets picked off at first. Paul Goldschmidt 2-run blast out there in or a solo home run, out there early on to get the National League a lead, and then some back-to-back home runs throughout the game for the American League with Giancarlo Stanton and Byron Buxton to get the American League. It was a nice, low-scoring game, a lot of pitching, and this is the real first taste that the American League and the National League get a chance to face each other, and it kind of gets you guys ready now on the verge to what we could look for the postseason, and that's right around the corner as well. And I think this is really a lot of times when you're a baseball fan, you start around this time, you start eliminating, all right, what teams are going to the playoffs, what teams are out of it. There's several teams out of it. Obviously, the Reds 15 games back, both in the wild card and in their division. So I don't think we're looking so well. And it's interesting because you try to find stations around here, podcasts, shows, and stuff like that to talk some positive. And there's a lot of positive talk that we'll talk a little bit about the Reds. Trying to rebuild their farm system, trying to help their minor league. And this is also now, it was an interesting weekend overall. You had the All-Star week, which is usually typically about a week span. They usually start over the weekend. They have the futures games, which I think was cut down to 7 innings. You had the senior game. There's a lot of other games going around over the weekend, and then you also had the home run derby and the followed by the All-Star. Now it's gonna today, tomorrow night, we're headed into tomorrow. We start looking back with baseball, looking forward with you have the San Francisco Giants and the Dodgers kicking away in Los Angeles. So there's a lot of stuff going on along in LA. And then you also had the MLB draft, which they pushed it back to the All-Star break. I don't know if that's something that they're going to continue with. I sure hope not. I think, although I don't like it early June, I think you need to have it at the midst of June, right? Maybe a week or two before the All-Star break. Let me put it that way. I'm not a fan of the MLB draft to be taking place around the College World Series, but I want them, I still think that needs to be done first. I don't think you get a proper look and a proper scout at a lot of these guys and a lot of these kids when it comes down to the draft until after the College World Series. But it needs to be happening anywhere between after the College World Series and between the All-Star break. Because now, okay, the GMs, they're working around the clock. But especially teams that are contending, you're looking at a lot of teams, and we'll get down in, to the National League today, like the Giants, the Cardinals, the Phillies. These are teams that are trying to contend for October baseball, and they're 1 or 2 players away, whether they need that extra at bat, whether they need the extra base hits and whatnot. They just need that little something to get them over that notch. And you're taking time away, which is usually around this time, to start looking for players. Now, I'm sure that there's been conversations and there's rumors, and I'm sure that there are rumors around who's on the trade block and who can they pick up. But, this is the time to start working. I mean, August 2nd will be here very quickly. As a matter of fact, I believe it will probably just be a couple weeks away. Get a confirmation on, just literally 2 weeks from yesterday. to really start making something happen. That's not a lot of time, and especially when guys like Luis Castillo and especially a big guy like Juan Soto. Can he be possibly traded by the deadline? And just the magnitude of what a team is going to have to give up to lose or to gain a guy like Luis Castillo or Juan Soto, who makes an instant impact on your organization the moment they step into that locker room. So that's exciting. We'll talk a little bit about that. All-Star Game is going to be back in Seattle next year, so they're going to stay out there on the West Coast. I love the concept of LA. They were supposed to have it a couple years ago, back in the pandemic year. They changed that because of the restrictions that California had at the time. And then they were supposed to have it last year, but they just weren't sure about the restrictions, so they put it in Colorado. And then this year they finally got a chance. And with all the new things that that Dodger Stadium has acquired, with the the upgradings on the jumbo screens, and then you also had the pavilion area in the back straightaway center where there's now a round center. I think it was a really good place for a for a All-Star week. But gosh, I swear, Dodger Stadium, and it's just I don't know what attracts it, but it feels like every single week or every single homestands that the Dodgers have. I mean, just a few weeks ago, all right, the Dodgers had it was all over social media where there was a big brawl that came out, and I believe I have it on my YouTube channel, Facebook channel. I reposted the story. I'll have to see if I could find it and repost it again. But it was several weeks back where Dodgers fans, they broke out into a fight, and it was the reason why it broke out is because throughout this fight, there's this one person that's just standing there touching a female, just in an unsecure way. It was just the most disturbing thing I've ever seen. And it seems like there's fights notoriously at Dodger Stadium. And back during the Home Run Derby, I mean, listen, I would love to go to an All-Star game. I would love to experience both the Home Run Derby and the All-Star game itself. I think that's one thing on my bucket list I would like to do. But it's difficult when and I would love to go to Dodger Stadium. And I think that's another thing on my bucket list. I think one of my goals is to be able to go to stadium to stadium to stadium and hit all 30 Major League Baseball stadiums. That's what I would love to do. But it's kind of hard when you put Los Angeles and put the Dodger Stadium on that market, just because they are a team or a stadium that just is notorious for fights. Home Run Derby, there's a brawl that I actually have it up on my screen right now. I'm not going to play it. You guys could go check the TNC Sports Talk Facebook page if you want to watch it. But this was a brawl in the outfield with two Dodger fans. One of them was wearing a Clayton Kershaw jersey. And I'm just, it's just one of those things that, you don't want to go to a stadium, or you don't want to go to a venue, Home Run Derby. I'm sure there's kids going out to these venues, for the first time. And it's so disturbing to see that every time they go out, it seems like every home series that the Dodgers have, or every special event that Los Angeles has at Dodger Stadium, it's downgrading to what they have, to having a brawl. I'm really not a fan of it. It really bugs me a lot. But we'll see. Now, coming up next year, like I said, they're in Seattle. All right, we're going to step away. We're going to come back. I think I want to talk about the standings that we see. There are games going on. As a matter of fact, there is 4 games going on tomorrow, which I'm excited to be back. But, I have a problem with that. And I'll tell you that problem when we come back. You guys are listening to the throw-in here on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel.
Hi, let's go.
Alright, let's take a look at our weather forecast today.
Today's forecast, a lot of sunshine, blue skies, marine clouds. Just a perfect day to go outside and relax. That's your forecast. We'll be right back.
Yeah, sunny days, sunny days, sunny days. No clouds in the sky, about to get away. Feels like it's been a freaking decade.
TNC Sports Talk is given to you thanks to StreamYard, StreamYard Studios. Create your next create your next videos, podcasts, virtual business meetings, and even interviews at StreamYard.com. Try out the new free version today at StreamYard.com.
Like a boss, and they say, yo, guess you got a 2 o'clock appointment for a champagne shop, oh yeah. I'm busy trying to take it higher, got no time for never, only spending cheddar, wish I could do this forever. Chilling with the hottest company, they all wanna welcome me to their private penthouse.
8:45 here on a Wednesday morning, taking you guys up until 10 here on the throw-in with Justin. And, a couple of stories coming around before we get into the standings. It's interesting. We'll dive more into this. And you talk about the All-Star game over the week and everything that is it's happened and how to get there. And it's like, I heard a story yesterday that, after the A's wrapped up in Houston over the weekend, Paul Blackburn decides he was the Oakland A's starter or all-star representation, and he decided that he was going to travel to Los Angeles on Tuesday with the Houston Astros, and he's the first time in his major league career. He was headed to the All-Star game, unique travel arrangements. Blackburn was set, and I think a lot of people were slated to do this. Blackburn was initially slated to travel on a commercial flight into Los Angeles since he was the lone all-star representative. And the Houston Astros, after finding out, decided to step in, and they offered Blackburn an opportunity to travel with them, the team charter, to Los Angeles with Houston as the All-Star representative. You think of Paul Blackburn, in the same league, being, you think the Oakland A's, and it's one of those things. It's like, well, I mean, they're probably the cheapest baseball team on this planet, trying to cut every corner. Man, hey, shoot, if they probably could, they would have took a taxi cab for Paul Blackburn. He'll still be probably in Texas right now trying to head to the All-Star game. But Paul Blackburn ended up accepting and making the trip with the 2022 All-Star game with the Astro stars, Jose Altuve, Yonder Alvarez, Kyle Tucker, Justin Verlander, and Framber Valdez. You think of it, the A's, you think of it being, this is an opponent, this is a team that you're supposed to hate to face, and you're riding with them. And at the end of the day, Blackburn says to riders that it was just an awesome experience. Houston Astros treated them with so much respect and very appreciative for the organization and what they did there. And it's interesting. And the reason why I bring this up in just specifics, because, Juan Soto, who just turned down a 15-year, $400 million contract extension on Saturday with the Washington Nationals. Okay. He only arrived to Los Angeles 5 hours early. The Atlanta Braves arrived in Los Angeles 5 hours earlier than Juan Soto did, according to Boris. He says, and that's because their team chartered a plane. Juan Soto had to fly on a commercial flight. Just imagine Juan Soto a guy who just got offered 15 year, $40 million contract extension, who is sitting in the terminal on a delay of a flight because it was a commercial flight or an airport for a 2 hour. It was only a 2 hour flight, and I think that's ridiculous. I mean, should teams? I think organizations needs to, if they are being selected. I don't care if you're the only person or not. If you are a team that has a player representing your franchise for the Midsummer Classic, you think of how much publicity Juan Soto brought to the Washington Nationals back on Monday for winning the home run derby. Think of how much publicity right now the Washington Nationals are getting, whether it's good or bad. Publicity is publicity, and one thing that Major League Sports around town is capable of doing is taking publicity and turning it back on their favor. So the Nationals send probably one of their top stars, the top star in baseball today, a guy who thinks that he's worth, that has 2 years left on his contract with Washington and thinks that he's worth more than $440 million contract, which I have no doubt that he is. But it's one of those risks that you take, because I don't think that the Washington Nationals are going to trade him today. You really think about the bargaining chip that you have over any other Major League Baseball team. It's the same that goes with Shohei Ohtani. And I kind of want to dive into the National League standings, and we'll talk more about this on the top of the hour, but this kind of just gives the perspection, or the image into Juan Soto. It's like, hey, listen, this team wants me to fly commercial, doesn't really care that I'm representing them. Yeah, I turned down a contract, but it's kind of, for me, disrespectful. And it's the same thing that goes with Paul Blackburn. I mean, I know that the Oakland A's are a cheap team and they don't play for much money. But at the same time, when you have a team, when you have players, I don't care if it's one player, two players, a coach, you find a way to take care of them and make sure they get down to wherever the All-Star game is on time with their gear, not having any overlays or anything like that. And the fact that this year you saw, and I'm sure this is not the only year that this has happened to players, but the fact that you have to take an opposing team, Soto arriving late. You also had, and then you had Paul Blackburn taking a rivalry team in his division to the All-Star game this year. I just thought that was absurd. All right, let's take a look quickly into the National League division or league, as we're at the Midsummer Classic, and some teams are already surprising. And I'm just going to dive right in, working from west to east in this sense. We're taking a look at the Los Angeles Dodgers in the West. They have a 10-game comfortable lead. They're already at 60-30 on the season. They're projected to win about 100 to 102 games at the rate they're going. You think about, you got about another 60, 70 games left on the season. And it was just about less than a month ago where the Dodgers and the Padres had a series in LA, and it was crucial that this team, that the Padres beat the series, beat the Dodgers, and it seems like every year the Dodgers are the team to beat, not only in the West but in the National League. And the exception given last season where the Giants came out of nowhere. But now we're looking at it where the Giants are facing the Dodgers this weekend in Los Angeles, and the Giants are coming in third place with 48 wins, 43 losses, 12 and a half games back. And you start figuring out, all right, we're coming up to the trade deadline. What does the Giants need to do? The Giants haven't been playing their best baseball as of late. Matter of fact, they've been on the downhill for a couple of weeks now. But if anyone who has a better chance at beating the Dodgers, and the only team that really has an opportunity in this division to beat the Dodgers, that is the San Francisco Giants. The Padres sit at 52-42. They're second in the National League West, 10 games out of first place. They really kind of just lost themselves. Now, you think about this. If the Padres are looking, this is a big if, by the way. If the Padres are looking to beat the Dodgers in the West, which I don't think is happening. I think we're already set and determined that with the margin that the Dodgers and the Padres have, you're really going to have to play 10 games better than the Dodgers, and I don't see that happening at the rate that both teams are going. So if you lock up, you could practically, I know it's prematurely, but I'm locking up the Dodgers over here in the first place. That means the San Diego Padres, they hold a two-game lead comfortably in the second wild card team heading into the break. And this is where the Padres were at last year. This is where the San Diego Padres were sitting at the end, at the midsummer classic last season, around the same record. Now, who would have thought without Fernando Tatis, who's missed this entire first half of the season, for the Padres to be 10 games above 500, okay, 52-42. But this was the same time last season where the San Diego Padres kind of went down on the down streak. Now that's given. Listen, there was a lot of complications. There was no control in the locker rooms. So there's an opportunity under Ball Melvin to turn this around, and at the rate that they're going, I would like them to see about 90 wins this season. I mean, they are on the verge to be at 90 wins if they can continue to play the way they can. Now, a lot of people are giving them a 500 baseball team, and that's just going to all depend on how Fernando Tatis comes back. If that, and you have your starting rotation that's very well. You just need to work on your bullpen, which I think is going to be with some rest, with I think a lot of well-needed rest for the Padres. I sure hope that they have an opportunity to go out there and capture second place. For the Padres, it's a do or die in this situation. They have to get to the postseason, or else AJ Preller and the manager for the Padres are kind of, a lot of people are at the chopping blocks with them. Take a look at the Giants. They're a team right now that they're trying to get in. They're half a game out behind the Cardinals and behind the Phillies in that third wild card spot. You think of a team that really needs to kick off, and they have an opportunity to do that against the Los Angeles Dodgers this weekend in a 4-game series that kicks off tomorrow night. But overall, the National League West looks up to be with the Dodgers. We'll take a look over in the National League Central. Milwaukee Brewers have and the St. Louis Cardinals are currently tied about a half a game to split, 50-43, 50-43, 50-44 for the Cardinals, and everyone else is already separated. Pittsburgh is 39-54, sitting in third place, surprisingly in front of those Chicago Cubs, who just hasn't been able to find the footing correctly. And then the Cincinnati Reds, who we'll talk about here in the top of the hour. Coming down to it, I wouldn't be surprised if you see St. Louis get the job done. You think of, they're always, they right now, this year, where they have it right now for the St. Louis Cardinals, they got a mixture of legacies versus future Hall of Famers, and in Yadier Molina, Albert Pujols, and then you got guys like Paul Goldschmidt, and you got Nolan Arenado, and then you got just some younger guys, and they're always seeming to find it in the race. You can't count them out. And last year was at the end of last year when they made that 17 that game streak to win 17 games in September to go on and, take over the Reds in the playoffs. That was I think, a statement, and they're really showing it this year. I think Cardinals are walking away with one of the wild cards, if not the division in this case. Take a looking down in the National League East here real quick. It's been a tight race all season long. You got the Mets leading it right now. They're really on fire. They're not that far away from being one of the top best teams in baseball today. They'll host the Padres here on Friday in a 3-game series at Citi Field, but you just start looking into things that start making sense. And, you wonder how much can the Mets hold on to the gas. It's been a while since you saw the Mets have a good team to contend for the playoffs, but the Atlanta Braves are right there, 2.5 games back on the division, followed by the Philadelphia Phillies. Now, currently right now with the wild card standings, you're looking at the Braves sitting 6 games above everyone else in the wild card. The Phillies sit there tied with the Cardinals in the wild card, but they're in 8.5 games back. And I think right now, when you're looking at the NL East, you're looking at the NL Central. These are two divisions that right now, I don't care where you sit at the wild card. You want to win the division. I mean, 8.5 games back is not that far away if you are the Philadelphia Phillies to make a run at the East and take it over. But prediction wise, I'm really complexing over here. I got the Dodgers winning the West. I got the New York. I got the I want to say the Atlanta Braves. I got the Atlanta Braves. I'm gonna go with the Atlanta Braves pulling through and winning the East there. But I really think that with the way that the Mets are playing, they have the capability of being. They're going to be one of those teams in the wild card division. And so, the Dodgers and the Braves, Milwaukee will go ahead and slide on in and probably beat the Cardinals. Wouldn't be surprised if you see it the other way around, but listen, I think there's going to be a little bit of fatigue coming out of St. Louis. I don't know if Milwaukee could really hold on. You know what? I'm going to change my thought there. I got the Dodgers winning the West. I got the Cardinals winning the Central, and then I got the Atlanta Braves winning the East. The 3 wildcard teams that I'm projecting right now will be the Mets, will be the Brewers, and will be the San Diego Padres in some sort of order, shape, and fashion. All right. We're at the end of hour number 1 here on our show. And boy, we got a lot more to talk about. Hour number 2 coming up here. When we come back, take a look at the Cincinnati Reds and their draft picks. Juan Soto on the trading block. Luis Castillo. Can we depart with Luis Castillo right now and face this whole breakdown of a division, or of an organization in that matter? More still to come out. Number 2 here on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel.